There we go. So we always said that we were going to do a podcast based on the two last England games. So obviously Andorra and Poland this evening. So let's make a jolly good start with Andorra, the first of the two England games from the last couple of days. What did you think? Let's go straight into it. Callum, I know you've got a list the length of, let's not go mad, your arm. So you've made a list. Like I said to you, I deleted mine without even thinking about it. But for me, there was a couple of good points. But make a start. What did you think of the game?
Well, I enjoyed the game. I didn't love the first half. I didn't love the first half of the second half. So actually, I didn't enjoy the game too much, but it was good. We made a completely different team. Everyone got a chance, which I was expecting really after the first game.
Yeah.
Andorra weren't anything too scary. We didn't need to. Our second team's still the equivalent to a very good Premier League team, whilst Andorra's is the equivalent to not a lot. So, we give Bamford a chance on his birthday, which was good. And we give Lingard a go. Saka on his birthday. Cody and Mings had a go. Trent played in midfield. Trippier back in, Reece James, Sam Johnston. So it was good to see fresh players. You could tell at times that they hadn't played together because a lot of them have never played together.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It was a bit slow at times, but the standout players for me throughout the game, the one standout player was Jude Bellingham.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely outrageous. In fact, just on another note, I've heard that Liverpool will be launching an £80 million bid for him from Dortmund. And for an 18-year-old, that is just ridiculous. He's demonstrated himself so well on the international stage, but not even that in the Champions League. Yes, I remembered against City last season. He had the ball in the back of the net at one point versus Edison. It should have been chalked on the scoreboard. It wasn't. But yeah, the kid is a superstar already. So anyway, go on. What were you saying about him?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. He looked like the most senior player on the pitch. And I believe he was the youngest.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He was just, it was his drag back, that is awesome little drag back before the goal. Mings put the tackle in, and then Bellingham got the ball, pulled a nice little drag back in, and then got the ball to Lingard. And then gave it back to Saka, who gave it back to Lingard, who scored. But it was Bellingham who really started off the move with a great piece of skill. And just throughout, there was a point where he was up against the corner flag, and he rolled the ball across, put it through someone's legs, and then went through a bunch of players.
I think I'm not mistaken in saying he took on 3 players in that kind of, when people do the training in like a box, if you like, it is absolutely for that reason, just to, get out of a tight situation. And it was king of that in that moment. The amount of times I've seen that on Twitter is ridiculous. Yeah. I've said it before. He's a superstar.
Yeah, big time. And it's his age that's great, but it's the position he plays as well. Like he's a midfielder, but he plays with such sort of, he's got all of the attributes that he needs, attacking wise, defensive wise. He controls the middle of the pitch. He looks great in every area. And I tweeted today, I'm not upset, but I wanted to kind of see what he was like in the starting 11. Yeah, today I know that the Calvin Phillips and Rice pivot, it doesn't really need messing around with. And Poland showed today that they weren't a team to kind of rest players against. But then we said as well when we were texting during the Andorra game, when he came off, it would have been nice for him to stay on when Kane, Grealish and Mount came on and see what they could do. It's the same with Bamford. It would have been nice to see if he could have stayed on with the big boys.
Yeah.
Because especially with Henderson's passing, was just sideways, backwards. If it was forwards, it was going out for a throw-in or a goal kick. And Bellingham was just kind of bringing that all-round midfield performance, and it'd been nice to see it.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think I'll start with the Henderson substitution. I think that was the wrong thing to do. They wanted to bring a bit of leadership on, and I get that, but he absolutely there was no forward passing about him. Like every pass was Well, not the fact it was the incorrect pass, but it was just the defensive pass. It would go back to the defense, it would go sideways, and that's just not as a fan, we don't want that. The reason that we love Mason Mount, that we love Jude Bellingham, and I loved your piece that you did on Mason Mount, because it was that you don't appreciate him at all. You see him as that link between him and Grealish, in that corner and down that line. But actually, the amount of work that he does in the middle of the park, that he does everywhere else, he was fine doing that role. He had the protection of Rice and Phillips, which that's one of the best partnerships I've seen from any team in a long time, to be honest with you. You'll go about all these defensive partnerships, and we talked about it in the last podcast. I think it was Vidic and Ferdinand, for example, but it's a totally different partnership because Phillips is going about, up the top of the park and things like that, and you've got Rice, who he was outstanding tonight. Was Rice, and the two of them, either one of them has a great game, or they both have a superb game. It's one or the other. They don't let each other down. The goal tonight, and we'll come on to that later on, was not their fault. It was just a superb piece of play, in my opinion, anyway. And going back to the substitutions that were made during Andorra, Grealish and Mount, great substitutions. I don't think Harry Kane needed to come on. I think that Bamford just needed a bit, that great service. And I've seen loads of tweets, and I even had a bit of an argument with somebody over it. But, very much a playful argument, I think it's fair to say. But I think that Bamford's service was just not good enough. When he's with Leeds, it comes from all over the place, whether it's Harrison, Rafinha, Dan James will definitely provide that. Especially with his pace, it comes from so many different areas, and there was none of that. It was almost like we were trying to play the Arsenal way of score that perfect goal, and it just isn't. I'm not going to say it's not possible on the international stage, because it is, quite frankly, and it always will be. You see the Germany score tonight, for example, and it certainly is. But I mean, Kane's goal tonight proves that the perfect goal just isn't always the way to go through it. And sometimes you need to pick it out of nothing. And if Bamford was given some space, not the space, sorry, because that's created from all over, but given the service, it could have happened from nothing like that. Whether it was a head, I think he would have scored a header quite easily, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to think where else I was going with that. We'll go on to Lingard, because I know that he, was it 2 goals and an assist? Superb performance.
Yeah, it was 5 shots, 2 of them on target, which were the goals and an assist. He ended up having 79 touches altogether. He was instrumental during that game.
Yeah.
He'd come in and out of the play. And yeah, like I said, he scored in the first half. That was just great from him. And then the second half, he scored from another cross from Saka. So he looked great all over. I can see why he played so well for West Ham. I'm just so frustrated that he's still at Man United, because he's not gonna get around the lineup. I mean, he'll come on for Fernandes at times, but he's shown again for us as England why he should be starting at a team. He'd do so well at West Ham.
He did, didn't he? Let's be honest. He would help that team to European glory potentially. with the way that he played last season.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it wasn't West Ham, Everton, Villa, he just causes headaches for defenders, and it's frustrating that he spent so long at Man United now as well, because he's not a youngster anymore. And we could have seen so much more out of him over the past few seasons. It took them a long time to loan him out in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was great. He was good before the subs came on. He was good when the subs came on. So I reckon he could definitely stake a claim for being in the starting 11, let alone actually being in the squad. He wasn't even in the Euro squad. And he just looks great. I mean, he was great in the World Cup. We loved him during the World Cup. Everyone was frustrated that he got into the squad, and then he was great during the World Cup as well. So he just needs to be given a chance. I'm not actually sure why he's just not been given a chance by anyone at all.
Well, this is it. It will be based on the fact that he's not playing for United. Unfortunately, if he was playing for West Ham to the standard that he was last season, it's quite simple. He'd be given that chance. But at the moment, because Grealish and Sterling are just so reliable for England, and to be fair, there's nobody really keeping them out. And I know we're going to come on to this, but there's Saka and Arsenal not exactly performing brilliantly. He only performs when he's at England, but when you've got Grealish and Sterling playing as well, why? It's almost like a why change. Why modify it if it's if we're playing like a Poland like we were tonight, and you need that reliability. You need those two to dribble into the box, that confidence they've got. But before we do move on, I want to have a Saka appreciation. He's not big at all. He's not very tall in the slightest, yet he climbed above and scored a header. It's like watching Messi score a header, if I'm being honest with you. It was absolutely hilarious to watch him climb above that defender and put the ball. I was like, that needs to be mentioned. So fair play, Saka. I know you watch it. I know you listen. Fair play to you.
It was I know he's listening right now, and I just want to say happy birthday for that day as well, and thanks for scoring. I think it just as well, it shows like the determination to get up and win that header. I used to, when we lost to Iceland in the Euros all those years ago, I remember just seething after the game. Rooney and the players around the pitch, I was just thinking, saying, they just turn up for their clubs because they get the paycheck and they put the England shirt on and it's easy. These boys want to play for England and they love it and they love each other. And Saka was desperate to get a goal, and I could tell in Bamford's face, I was gutted for Bamford. I could see it in his eyes that he just wanted to score and cap off his debut. But that's it. That's what we need to be winners. You need that hunger from all the players. You can't just have all of the players. Like I said, we're going to come on to this, but you can't just have Liverpool, City, Man United players, Chelsea players on a big wage, throw them in and just go, right, here you go. You're just playing for England this week.
We've tried that once. That's it. We've tried it in the past with Lampard's, Gerrard's, Scholes. How do you get them all in midfield? Quite simply, it doesn't work. They didn't gel. Whereas I heard it on the radio this morning. It's like Club England. It is club football for the boys there now because they are such a tight unit. And it is, they are that good because I think it massively helps that Southgate's in charge. He's been through the system. He's coached the under 21s. I want to say it was one of the under groups anyway, wasn't it? But he has just made that group perfect to work with, to be honest with you. Not perfect in the sense of, you can see on the pitch that they all are. So it's like they're all good mates, the videos on YouTube and it's, all that kind of thing. It's brought us closer together to the team, but at the same time, you see them as a unit and it's perfect. You see them as, like I say, Club England. So anyway, I want to move on to onto the game tonight, onto Poland. So I've made a few notes on this one as well as yourself because it was frustrating to watch at times because I'm going to start with the first question. Let's not spend too long on this one, but was it too physical for England tonight based on the game? What you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe. I don't think that this team's too bad. I mean, I saw Walker bullying people off the ball. I think that's why the collision started at half time because Glick pulled on Kyle Walker's chin and then...
I saw that. How nasty was that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, don't get me started on him. I think he looks like that Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. I can't stand him. He's only 33. I thought he was about 40 when I looked at him.
I know.
Oh my God. And he was just, the legs were breaking every few minutes. He looked like he was going to fall apart. I couldn't stand him. But he got absolutely terrored by Walker when the ball came into the box. Just got shown what strength is. So I don't know if it might have been too physical. I think they were just frustrating. They were playing for a draw because that keeps them in the World Cup. You saw how, in the World Cup qualifiers, you could see how much they were celebrating at the end. You text me saying it looked like we were playing for a draw, which I think it give me bad flashbacks to the Scotland game during the Euros where it was, well, if we get a point now, then we're definitely qualified through the third place qualification. I thought, this is Gareth. Like this is the bits where you have to take your Gareth hat off when we look like we're playing for draws and what's the most sensible approach. But I mean, it just looked like one of those games. It happens to everyone. It happens to all the big teams. I think our team right now is just massive. I think we've got a great squad all over the pitch, and I can't fault many players. So I think we are a massive team. And it looked like there just needed to be a moment of magic from us to get the win. Otherwise, it was going to be a draw. We got the moment of magic. It was an absolutely beautiful goal.
Glorious finish, wasn't it? It was out of nothing. I mean, I sent you a message saying Kane has been non-existent in this game. And, he was dropping in deep. He was basically playing the Rooney role as Rooney got older. And I was just, and it was starting to frustrate me a bit. So I was like, Kane, you are meant to be that focal point in the box. And at times there was just no one there to deliver the ball to. And it was just like, it was frustrating to watch. And then all of a sudden, he just picked up the ball, took a touch, and just bang. And it really was a bang. And I looked at it and I just went like that, arms up in the air. It was so unexpected, absolutely unexpected.
It was. It didn't look like it was going in that way either. That we were going to be able to break through. So it was like we didn't actually break through. We needed that moment. And it was unbelievable. And the swerve at the end of it. And when he went to hit it, I had like the Sergio Aguero, Vinny Company moment of don't shoot, thinking it's going to go into the top stand. I saw Lewandowski do a few of those, by the way. I thought that was coming. I thought, oh dear, this is going to be. And then he just
right in the corner. But then obviously, just over the. I know which ones you're referring to. Yeah, I must also say though, the pundits were saying, "Oh yeah, Szczesny should have got to the ball there." And I must admit, it looked like it was going straight at him in the first instance, and then that swerve just at the end. And I just thought that's being a bit harsh. He didn't dive late. Well, no, sorry, he did dive late because the ball swerved so late. But so yeah, I mean. Great goal, fantastic finish, out of nothing, but that's what his job is. It's to put the ball in the back of net at the drop of a hat. So what I want to talk to you about is, because I know that you saw a couple of tweets as well, Grealish moved to City. He gets started straight away. When he was at Villa, and we saw this in the Euros, he was coming on as a substitution in like the 60th, 65th, 70th minute. I've got my thoughts. Go first though. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so this is the thing. I've seen these tweets, and I understand it completely. He has literally just moved to City and started both games. And the starting 11 today and the starting 11 against Hungary is the exact same as the final of the Euros, except Grealish is in for Trippier, making it back for Grealish on the wing. So yes, it's convenient, which you can't ignore, and it's definitely going to be.
Yeah.
Either.
I am. Yeah, you just froze for a second, so it was convenient.
Yeah, so I'll cut that out. So it was convenient that he's kind of just come straight in now that he's moved to City.
Yeah.
But I think he's worked his way into the team as well. He wasn't like, it's not like, I mean, the social media crowd had to absolutely hound Gareth into giving him a start,
does feel
getting
like
him
that,
to the squad.
Yeah.
And now it seems like we've hounded him into giving him the start, but he's earned it. There was an injury that got him into the squad in the first place before the Euros for friendlies and everything like that. And
I'm trying to think who it was now. Keep on going, and I'll have to think who it was.
Yeah, it was something that got him in, and he showed that he was worth the punt.
I think it was Rashford, actually.
It might be. Sounds like that'd be right. It's always Rashford. He's always injured.
But then I got the feeling that he might have been in there until his shoulder injury, because he took a penalty. In fact, no, he took a penalty, didn't he? So it wasn't him. No, did he? No, he didn't take a penalty. What am I talking? Oh no, he did take a penalty. What am I talking about?
Oh, you're talking in the Euros final.
No, but Grealish. Oh yes, I am talking about the Euros. No, he was only brought into the squad at some point, and I can't remember who got injured, and it's going to really annoy me as that now. But anyway, let's keep on going with the subject at hand.
Yeah, no, he definitely only got into the squad through an injury, and he's proven all along that he's worth actually being in the team. And he's been incredible. Like tonight, he's just, when he gets the ball, the way he dribbles, he gets fouled all the time. He's the most fouled player in the league for a reason.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
He's so difficult to get the ball off. He's incredible, and I think if he was at Villa now, I think he'd still have started the last two games. That's the point I'm trying to make. I know it's convenient that he has come in after getting that big money move, but I mean, Declan Rice plays for West Ham. Calvin Phillips and Bamford play for Leeds.
Yeah.
No offense, and and there are players around the team that are playing for those kind of mid-chasing European places. So.
I mean, Jesus, Saka's in the team and he's in Arsenal. Look where they are.
Oh, he's bottom of the league.
To be fair, that's the point I was going towards, to be fair. and I said it to you earlier on, and blatantly, Saka just can't get a game at the moment because Sterling is so reliable. But if you think about who else was playing on that wing, you've got Foden, he's injured. Rashford, shoulder injury, he's injured, obviously. Obviously Rashford plays on the left. I can't remember who else used to play on the left, but obviously Sancho, he's injured at the moment. So, I mean, that's three players out that have all been linked to a starting position in that team, especially during the Euros. When you think of Foden, you think of Saka as well. So Grealish, as much as he's in that team at the moment on merit, it'll be interesting when all these players come back. Will he still have that starting position? I think I'm with you. He warrants it because he's so good. He dribbles so well. Like you said, he's the most foul player in the Premier League for that reason. He is that player that if he's in the box, he gets fouled, he's going to get a penalty.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 or 8 times out of 10, because every now and then you do think if the ref's going to judge it as a dive. So anyway, but I absolutely think he warrants that place without a doubt.
Definitely, definitely, and yeah, I'm happy with him being there. I just think, in fact, going back to the game tonight, there was no subs from us, and you could see players like Grealish going forward, and then defensively it all started getting a bit leggy, and all of the subs came on. 5 of them came on towards the back end of the game, and everyone
From
started
Poland.
to look. Yeah, sorry, from Poland, and they all started to kind of pile on the pressure, and you could tell our players were tired, and Shaw got beat in the air for the header
That's it,
that went
yeah.
in. And yeah, I could tell when players were going forward that they were starting to get tired. I could see that when we were defending, it just looked like they were piling on so much, and that's why we looked so vulnerable. But
Yeah.
the starting 11 we had tonight, I mean, it's just an incredible team. Grealish looks just like the main man. Harry Kane is the main man. Sterling looks so good for the country. Mount and Grealish are playing that role again, where they were overlapping each other on the left. The pivot looked great. The centre Stones looked rusty at the start, and then started to look. He was dribbling out of the box towards the end of the game. And then the fullbacks looked good. Walker had a few misplaced passes, but then he picked a few out towards the end as well. So I was a bit concerned about the lack of substitution as well towards the end. Chris Hughton's done that at Forest this season and last season. You can't keep the same energy levels of the whole team throughout 90 minutes if the other team's
Yeah.
got fresh legs.
This is it. And I think my worry is, does Southgate trust his bench to come on and make an impact for us to go on and score a goal, or hold the game up? And I think that holding the game up is important, because obviously you want to make sure that we're not conceding. So does he trust the bench to not concede a goal? And that's a bit of a worry for me, because we're going into this World Cup. There's obviously going to be more. There's going to be tougher competition in that when it comes. Germany were without a doubt the toughest. They should have been on paper. They are the toughest team that we should have played. Obviously, we lost to Italy in the end. I'll be on penalties, but we should come up against probably tougher competition than that in the World Cup. We are going to need to rotate that squad without a doubt, because it's competition football. It's tough. It's tiresome. So that's my worry. Does he trust the bench, basically? Moving away from that, I want to know from you. In fact, no, go on. What were you going to say to that?
No, I was just going to say, I think that the ideal move you would think would be tonight to defend the lead, move Walker into the back 5 and put Trent on to cover the right hand side, or bring on Connor Cody as he's used to a back 5 and keep Kyle Walker on the right and bring an attacker off. So does he not trust Trent? We've seen that Trent couldn't get into the squad in the first place. I personally think that Trent is a liability defensively, which I think is why Gareth tried him in centre midfield against Andorra, which I don't think
Didn't think
worked
it worked.
necessarily.
I didn't like it.
No, so I think he needs to have a little bit of a head wobble with the squad, and have ideas. Obviously he has. He's got us to 2 finals, but yeah, I just think he. If you're not going to make a substitution at all while you're trying to hold on to a 1-0 lead, then what's the problem with the defenders? Because I know that Connor Cody was the only centre half that they had, which is why he was warming up for John Stones. And I know that Cody's used to a back 5.
Yeah.
So maybe, do you know what I mean? I don't know what his thought process was behind that with the defence. But yeah.
Fair enough. So you don't know I'm going to ask you this. So I want to know what your thoughts are on, based on just tonight's performance. And to be fair, I think I know where you're going to go with it. Who would you rather have, Kane or Lewandowski?
That's a silly question.
I know. I wrote it down and I thought to myself, I wrote this down at the beginning of the game actually, because I thought, do you know what? They're both probably going to have a good game. You know, Lewandowski did have a couple of moments where you thought, oh, actually, you know what? He could have a moment of glory there. But it didn't obviously come off. And then an outrageous goal that typically Lewandowski never scored. He does score from outside the box, but he is more of that poacher in the box. Go on, answer the question anyway. Who would you rather have?
If my friends are listening to this, which they will be, because they'll be in trouble if they don't, they will be screaming at you for asking such a question.
I know.
Because I am Mr. Harry Kane, and you can give me anyone. I think the only striker up there that you can contend with Harry Kane, that traditional number 9, taking away Ronaldo and everything like that, is Lewandowski. Kane's better all round in every way for me. I've had this argument before. I think Lewandowski, don't quote me, I've not got it in front of me. I think he scored 40 odd goals in the Bundesliga last season. He didn't get many assists, but Kane got over 40 goal involvements in the Premier League. So I said, if you put Kane in Bayern Munich's team, he'd get 40 plus goals easily. If you put Lewandowski into Spurs, I don't know.
Well, he wouldn't get the service, would he? Quite simply, when you've got, I mean, I'm not even going to try and start naming off the Bayern Munich, forwards and things like that. But when you get the service that is as good as it is, in that team, and when he is that kind of box, centre forward number 9, if you like, it's going to be. I heard a stat today. He scores 1 goal every 43 minutes, something like that. He's a great. I'm with you. Based on tonight's game, Harry Kane all day long, and I am a massive Harry Kane advocate as well. I'm gutted that he didn't get his move, because I want to see him do well. His stats warrant that move. It warrants him getting a trophy at the end of his career, or having at least one big major trophy. But anyway, we were both talking about it. Who's going to win the World Cup? Can England win the World Cup based on not just the qualifiers, but obviously their all-round performance, that you've seen recently?
Yes, absolutely. Quite simply, yeah, I think we've got the squad. I think we've got the players. I think we've got the togetherness. I think everyone knows their role. I think everyone can commit to their role. I just want Gareth to make sure that he gets it all in line, and make sure that he does it all correctly.
Yeah.
And everything comes together. I think that Italy had that with Mancini. I think Mancini managed to use every strength of Italy's. And I'm not too worried about the South American teams, really. Brazil and Argentina and bits like that. I don't think they've got as good a squad team in Europe. So yeah, definitely.
I agree. I think when the Euros first kicked off and we had a couple of 1-0s here and there, I think everyone was a little bit concerned of the lack of goals. But actually, it felt like really good game management when you look back on it. And actually, halfway through the Euros, when you go, well, hang on a second, we're winning, and that's the aim of the game, isn't it? So if we got to the Euros and all of a sudden it was a goal, and that was it, just 1 goal a game for England, but it was going in the right direction. Who are we to judge? It's going in the right direction, and that's purely and simply it. So for me, yes, they can win it. We've been to a final. We know how to get to a final, and that is the big. That was the missing piece. We didn't know how to use game. We didn't know how to manage a game when it came to the final bits. We weren't great in the final 10 minutes tonight. It was a case of they piled on the pressure. It was a wonderful assist, but actually, I think if the right substitutions come together, we're going to be absolutely fine. We'll have more players at that point because we'll have more players coming back from injury, all being well and everyone else stays fit and healthy. So I think all in all, we'll be in a good place for Qatar 2022. So let me just move the table away from my dog scratching herself. I'm going to ask you one final question. Who was your man of the match tonight?
Oh,
I know. Again, we didn't plan that one either, did we?
No, and it was kind of a strange one. There wasn't too many outstanding figures for me at all. the thing is, Kane scored the goal, but until then, he wasn't really there. I think I'm going to give it to Grealish. I think he was just trying to make the game go as much as he could. Every time he got the ball, he tried to make something happen. He drew his fouls. He caused some havoc on the dribble. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Grealish. Yeah.
Fair enough. Mine goes to Declan Rice. Thought he played outstanding. I thought he was a great defensive unit, great backup for the, just a great front line for the defence. I thought he played brilliantly going forward, interlinked with all the other players well. Him and his best buddy Mason Mount. That you can tell that there's such a good cohesion between the two of them. So yeah, fair play. Before we finish off that, referee will give me one sentence. What did you think?
Absolutely, just a championship level referee, and I have no lower opinion of anyone in the world than a championship referee. He was a championship referee, but worse. Oh my God, that Calvin Phillips yellow card. He wasn't even looking at the player. He just was putting his foot down. It wasn't a yellow, maybe a foul. And then a few minutes later, Josiak, that little sheep from Derby, I do not like Derby. He absolutely. Who did he clean out? Was it Grealish?
Yeah, I think it was Grealish. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He put his studs up, went straight through him. Referee just went, "Oh yes, just a foul."
Ladies and gentlemen, I did try and say to him one sentence because I knew how much he would go into it. He's been texting me all evening saying, "Oh, this, that, and the other." I asked him for one sentence. I really did try. I really did. No, he couldn't do it. Yeah, the same. I think he let far too much pass when it came to their players, and I thought there were studs up in certain tackles that just shouldn't have been allowed. And yeah, anyway, right then, we'll call it there. Thank you very much to everyone for listening, and we will see you at some point in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.